The sea, once a realm of freedom, now bears the weight of an unprecedented geopolitical war. Two tankers seized, one in the North Atlantic, the other in the Caribbean, both linked to Venezuela's elusive oil exports. This isn't just about ships. It's about a brutal power play where oil is both weapon and currency. The United States, with military precision, has struck at the heart of a global trade route, leaving Russia and China in its wake. The question is simple. Is this the beginning of the end for Venezuela's oil empire? Each move the U.S. makes, it tightens its grip. Global tensions are escalating, and the world is watching. These aren't just tankers. They are symbols of a fractured world order. This isn't just about oil. It's about control, survival, and the future of energy in a rapidly changing world. Stay tuned. Let's unravel this high-stakes operation and see what it means for all of us. The United States has made its move, a move to choke off Venezuela's oil exports. For years, the U.S. has used sanctions as a tool, but now it's taking more drastic steps. Two tankers have been seized. One was Russian-flagged, the other operating illicitly in the Caribbean. But the story isn't just about two ships. This is about power. It's about control over one of the world's most valuable resources, oil. For Washington, this isn't just economic warfare. It's a direct challenge to Venezuela's ability to survive. A message to Russia and China: don't interfere. The goal is clear: to break the backbone of Venezuela's economy, to cripple its oil industry. But how far will the U.S. go? What does this mean for the region, for the global energy market? And most importantly, what will be the long-term impact of this high-stakes gamble? Venezuela's oil industry has always been a cornerstone of its economy. For decades, it was a blessing, a vast reservoir of wealth. But the story of Venezuela's oil is more complicated. In the early 2000s, Venezuela began shifting alliances, turning to Russia and China for support. This change would have lasting consequences. The U.S., once the dominant power in the region, saw this shift as a threat. Venezuela's oil reserves are the largest in the world, and that oil has been a key part of its power. In response, the U.S. imposed sanctions targeting Venezuela's oil exports. The goal: to isolate the country, to weaken the Maduro regime. But Venezuela has fought back. With help from Russia and China, it has found ways to continue exporting oil, despite the sanctions, despite the pressure. Now, the U.S. has escalated. Seizing these tankers shows just how serious things have become. But why now? And what does it mean for the future of Venezuela's oil? In a dramatic turn of events, the U.S. Coast Guard intercepted the Marinera, a Russian-flagged tanker, after a 2-week pursuit. This wasn't just a routine operation. It was a high-stakes maneuver. U.S. forces were closing in, and the world was watching. The Marinera had been sailing under a false flag, a violation of international maritime law. And this was no small matter. This action wasn't just symbolic. It was the culmination of months of pressure. Russia's reaction was swift. It condemned the seizure, it called for the crew to be treated fairly, and demanded their quick return to Russia. But Moscow's protests fell on deaf ears. U.S. forces boarded the vessel without resistance. The U.S. message was clear: there would be no safe haven for Venezuela's oil exports. This operation sends a powerful message to Venezuela, to Russia, to the world. The stakes have been raised. The U.S. is committed to cutting off Venezuela's access to the global oil market. What makes this operation so significant isn't just the seizure of a tanker. It's the hidden mechanism behind it. The United States isn't just targeting ships. It's going after the very system that keeps Venezuela afloat. The ghost fleet, these vessels operating under false flags, allow Venezuela to bypass sanctions. They are part of a complex network designed to move oil under the radar. The U.S. knows this, and it has been working relentlessly to dismantle this network. By intercepting these tankers, the U.S. is sending a powerful message. Anyone aiding Venezuela's oil exports will face consequences. But there's more to it. The U.S. has eyes on the entire supply chain. From production in Venezuela to shipments across the seas, each operation is a calculated strike, a move to tighten the noose around Venezuela's oil industry. And this isn't just about sanctions. It's about control of global oil markets, and control of Venezuela's future, just as the world was processing the first operation. A second tanker, the MT Sophia, was intercepted in the Caribbean. This operation was different. It was rapid, it was covert, but the message was the same. No vessel connected to Venezuela's illicit oil trade is safe. The MT Sophia had been operating in international waters, moving under the radar, conducting illicit activities. The U.S. Coast Guard was quick, boarding the vessel without resistance. It was a clean operation, but the implications are anything but clean. The U.S. is tightening its grip. Venezuela's oil exports are dwindling. For Venezuela, this is a devastating blow. Its oil industry is crumbling. And with each seized tanker, its global influence weakens. This isn't just an economic battle. It's a geopolitical one. The U.S. is sending a message to the world. Venezuela's oil will no longer flow unchecked. But the question remains, what will happen to Venezuela now? And what does this mean for global oil markets? For the people of Venezuela, this crackdown on oil exports is personal. It's not just about sanctions or international politics. It's about survival. Venezuela's economy is already in free fall. The country's oil industry is the last lifeline. And now, even that is slipping away. The impact is being felt on the ground. Prices are rising, jobs are disappearing, basic necessities are harder to find, and the pain is only going to get worse. The U.S. actions are tightening the noose. Venezuelans are caught in the middle, suffering from a crisis not of their making. But there's a flicker of hope. In this moment of hardship, the people are resilient. They're finding ways to survive, to push back against the system. Yet the reality is harsh. Venezuela's people are facing an uncertain future, and the rest of the world watches, wondering if the country can recover. This isn't just a crisis for Venezuela. It's a crisis for the entire world. Venezuela's oil exports have long been a key part of global energy markets. And as the U.S. tightens its grip on Venezuela's oil industry, the effects are being felt around the globe. Countries that have relied on Venezuelan oil are scrambling for alternatives. The U.S. is not the only player in the game. China, Russia, and even smaller nations are watching closely. The geopolitical stakes are high. Venezuela's oil is a major factor in the power dynamics of the Western Hemisphere. The U.S. is making a bold statement, but Russia and China are pushing back. This isn't just an economic battle. It's a fight for influence, for control of one of the world's most valuable resources. As Venezuela's oil exports shrink, other oil-producing nations will feel the pressure. Global energy markets are shifting, and this seismic change will ripple through every corner of the world. What does the future hold for Venezuela? The possibilities are vast, but they can be broken down into three scenarios. First, the best-case scenario. Venezuela's oil industry stabilizes. It manages to find alternative markets, and with international help, the country begins to rebuild. This would bring a sense of hope and recovery, but this scenario is uncertain and would require significant reforms and cooperation. Second, the middle ground. Venezuela's oil exports remain severely restricted. The country's economy continues to suffer, but it avoids total collapse. The people remain resilient, but the crisis lingers on, and the global community remains divided over how to help. Third, the worst-case scenario, Venezuela's oil industry collapses entirely. The economy spirals deeper into chaos, and the government faces mounting pressure. This could lead to further instability, not just in Venezuela, but across the region. The global oil market would be deeply impacted, and the ripple effects could be felt around the world. Which path will Venezuela take? The choices are limited, but the consequences will be profound. The world is changing, and the battle for control of Venezuela's oil is just the beginning. We're witnessing a new chapter in geopolitics, where energy resources shape the future of nations. The US has sent a clear message to Venezuela, to Russia, and to China. There are no safe havens for those who break the rules. But the question remains, what happens next? Will Venezuela's oil empire survive? Or will the country's descent into chaos continue? The path forward is uncertain. But one thing is clear, the world is watching. Every decision, every move will send ripples through the global economy. The future of Venezuela's oil isn't just about economics. It's about power, control, and the survival of a nation. So, what will you do? Will you stay informed and understand the forces shaping the world around you? Or will you watch from the sidelines? The time to act is now. The stakes have never been higher.